Hi, my name is Margaret Johnson. I'm a Canadian independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm sharing with you Stampin' Up! Basics 101, focusing on adhesives. The catalog has a whole page full of adhesives. So we have, let's see here, 7 different types of adhesives, and then 2 tools to help you with your adhesives. So we're going to focus on every single one of these to take you through the differences and how they can be used and why you would need different types of adhesives. So let's start off with the Fast Fuse. This one is really strong, can be used for a variety of different things. Although it's fairly strong that you can use it for let's say if you want to make envelopes and you want to seal the envelope shut with the envelope punch board and you just want to seal the edges shut, they'll work great for that. But if you're looking at making boxes, you'd want to look at using the tear and tape instead, as it's a little bit stronger. But we're going to use this with the watercolor paper because this paper is a little bit textured. Sometimes the snail adhesive doesn't quite hold it as strong as Fast Fuse would. So we're just going to pull that in here. So the Fast Fuse is really strong, like much stronger than the snail adhesive. But if you don't use it right, it can just keep coming out on you. So what you want to do is you want to get it going. There we go. And when you're done, twist it to the side to break it. If you don't, it'll just keep going and it might unravel itself and it can become a pain. A lot of people don't like this, sometimes because they don't know how to use it properly. I find my greatest challenge is when I put a new cartridge in, because these are refillable. These do come apart. That's something else that you should know. Same with the snail, they come apart. So the snail adhesive, you keep the the Fast Fuse, you keep the 2 halves and you buy the refills. So they just pop in on these little points here. So we'll just get those lined back up, put it back together. So when you're using this, you want to make sure that the word Fast Fuse is facing up. That way you know you're using it correctly. So you're going to use some pressure and then again twist off to the side to stop it. And twist off. It takes a little bit to get it going at times, but once you do, it works great. So you'll notice I twist it off every single time. Looks just like snail does when you apply it. Basically, it's like a correct-it roller, except it's adhesive. So we'll put that one aside. I'm just going to attach this to this card front here. Oops. And it's pretty strong, so you want to make sure that you get this laid down properly right away. You're not going to have too many chances to correct that. So that's using the Fast Fuse. The next one we're going to focus on is snail. This is your most basic. This is the one you'll probably use the most. This is for standard cards, card fronts, anything I find that isn't textured, this works well for. Anything that's flat surfaces. So we'll pull this one in here. So again, refillable cartridge. So this piece you keep, once your cartridge is empty, you keep this and you just buy your replacement. This is the applicator throwaway portion. So they just snap together. So there is a little button on the top and the bottom that you just squeeze to make this one come apart. And it just snaps back in place. Now it also has a little tab here to protect the adhesive. So when it's sitting in your drawer or in your bag, you're not going to have everything sticking to the end of it. So you pull that back. And this has always got to be on the bottom. It's not going to work if this is facing up. You're not going to be able to roll it. It's not going to work for you. So this is always on the bottom when you're applying. So this one tends to work a little smoother. I'm just going ahead and twisting off to the side. It's just an easy way for me to remember not to mess up when I'm using my Fast Fuse. So we're going to attach this to this piece here. And we'll attach this and a little bit in the center. And this one is a little more forgiving. And this is probably the best place for me to show you the adhesive remover. Let's say I didn't want this little bit in the center here. You have the adhesive remover, and as you use it, it just kind of wears away. But you can just rub that on there, and now that bit in the center is gone completely. So this adhesive remover is great when you get adhesive in places you don't want it. You do want to make sure that any of these extra little tabs are gone before you use it, because they are kind of dirty and then they can transfer that dirt to your card. But as long as it's just the gummy eraser part, then you should be good to go. So I'll pick that up. Make sure that my fold's at the top. Nothing like attaching a card upside down. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's done that in the past. So, all right. So there's that quick card there using the snail adhesive. So quick, easy to use. So the next, we're going to double duty on this one. We've got the Tombow and we've got the two-way or the fine tip glue pen. Both of these are very similar. This one has a needle that has to go in the hole. Otherwise, your hole is going to clog up. So we're just going to pull in a delicate, intricate die cut shape here. So this works great for applying adhesive in those fine areas. Now you don't want to be too slow that it ends up drying on you, but you also don't want to get too much where it goops up and it's just going to pour out the sides. So I usually try and do the outside edges. So that's that one. Now as soon as you're done with it, some's seeping out there on me. As soon as you're done with it, you want to, I must have applied pressure because it's seeping out the top. There's some pressure built up inside this. So I want to get that out. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit, get that air bubble out before I attach that pin back in. It's still seeping out. I've never had that before. But that might explain why some women get it where it clogs up on them. So we're going to get this pushed back in there. Like I said, it is very fine. So get that back down in there and screw your cap back on. So your second option is the Tombow mono glue. So it actually has two ends. Has a wide tip, which I don't use very often, and it has your finer tip. This one also works great for these small areas, but you can use it for bigger areas as well. So I'm just going to add some along here and the outside edge here. So both these work great for really fine areas. This one also works great for bigger jobs, for attaching bigger embellishments. And I'm just gently going to pick this up. Oh, I've got some adhesive there. I don't want it on my card. Sorry about that. Oh, and try not move it around on your card front like I just did. You want to make sure you have pretty clean hands when you do this. And I just try and get the adhesive away from all the other areas. So that helps glue that down. I don't think I'd put any adhesive up on those corners there, but so that's how that one works. Or those two, I should say. Now, something I should show you. This is one of the other tools. This is the Silicone Mat. So this works great because adhesive will peel off of this. So if I were to put a dab of this glue on here, I can use this now to pick up, to attach to little bits and pieces if I want, and it just sits there. And once this dries up, it will just peel off this silicone mat. You can kind of see the streaks of where I've peeled other adhesives off, but pretty much any adhesive you put on here, any liquid adhesive, even this one, if you do a little blob on here, it will peel off once it's dry. So this is why the silicone mat is really handy. Something that you could do is you could take this one here and you could create, let's say, a line and do little spikes like that. Get that back in right away. All right, so I don't know if you could see that. It kind of looks like icicles. I created a line and then I pulled it all down. Once this dries, I should be able to peel this off like we used to do with the crystal effects. And I can attach it to a card then. So that's something else that you can do with that. So we'll set that aside to dry. That'll be too long before I'm done this video. So the next little one is the mini glue dots. These are great for attaching buttons. I use it a lot behind ribbon, just to hold, especially when you tie a bow, just behind the ribbon. And it also works great for sequins. So it's about the same size. So we're just going to take a little black sequin here, and I'm just going to lay it over top of the glue dot, and then we'll be able to peel that up. And I'm just going to put it in the center of the flower here. So I find the best way to use the glue dots, one thing to remember, always leave this protective film covering it. I've had it where people peel this back, they rip this off, and they put it back in my box that it comes in. And guess what happens with all these glue dots that are exposed? That's right, they stick inside the box. So always make sure your adhesive film covers all your glue dots. When you have a big section that's bare, then you can peel that back and rip it off, but make sure it's always covering all the glue dots that are exposed. And then just keep it back in your box so that it doesn't unravel and stick to everything on you. So glue dots are fantastic, like I said, for little sequins, buttons, ribbon, any small embellishments. They work perfect for that. So that is that. The next one is tear and tape. Now I don't have the new tear and tape, I still have the old sticky strip, but they're the same idea. The new tear and tape is white, whereas the old style was the sticky strip, and it has a red film on it. Super strong. This is perfect for 3D projects. This isn't exactly a 3D project, but I find that this needs some extra stick to make it stick down versus the regular adhesive. So, oh, maybe a bit too long. So just use scissors to cut that. Put that on the back here. And I had something stuck to me. All right, and then with the new tear and tape, it'll be a white protective film that you're going to tear off. This old one is the red. And just get your thumbnail underneath or use scissors, peel it off, and now it exposes the other side of the stick. And then you can just attach that to your project. And that's going to give a really good strong hold to hold that on. I'm pulling on that and it's not coming off. So that's exactly what you want. So again, great for 3D projects like boxes and treat bags that you're creating with your punch board or gift box board. So that is the tear and tape from the catalog. So that's what this one here looks like with the white film on it now. Another thing I should mention about the glue dots is when you're using them, a lot of people will try and pick them up with their hands, peel them off with their hands. Either I put my embellishment straight to it like I did with the sequin, I put the sequin right on it, or if I'm trying to place it, I use my scissors to pick that up, and then I attach this to my project where I need it. Tip of the scissors works great for that. So I'm going to put that back on there because I don't need it right now. So sorry for jumping back. So the next one is pop dots, Stampin' Dimensionals. These are great for projects for just adding just a little bit of dimension to your projects. Help pop them up and make them stand out. So I already have this pre-stamped, pre-colored. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our Stampin' Dimensionals. It comes with 3 sheets in this package. And I've already used some, but it comes with 3 of these sheets. So there's 300 pop dots, and I actually also use the edges. So I just snip them into the size that I need so that waste not, want not, you know, use it all up. So flip this over. So it has a sticky side and an adhesive or a film backing on it. So leave the film backing on, but peel it off here. So your sticky side, put that down. And I'm going to put one in the center as well, so I've got 5 on here. Now, sometimes these don't come off right away, especially if you don't have nails, so just push in the center. So as soon as you push in the center, you see it lifts the corner, and then they're easier to peel off. So push in the center, pushes the edge up, whoop. Just creases it enough that you can peel that off. And we'll attach that to our card front. So now you can see from the side that it's just raised up. So it just gives it a little bit of dimension. The nice thing is they're not too high that they won't fit through the regular card slot for postage. So it's not going to cost you extra postage when you just use one layer of that. So those are the pop dots, Stampin' Dimensionals. Next, and finally, actually, is the foam adhesive strips. So these come with 2 sheets in a package, and these are fantastic for frames and especially for shaker cards. So they're long strips. You can cut them to the length you need. They can be quite flexible, so if you're going around a shaped image, then you can actually, I leave the paper backing on. Again, they're just like the Stampin' Dimensionals with the film protective backing on there. But if you're going around a corner, what I do is I just lift up the adhesive just in the spot where I want it to, and then it really curves and gives it lots of flexibility. So super fun for that. So easy way to use it. I've got this little frame here that I've die cut. So I'm just going to peel a whole strip off. So let's say I want to use this on a shaker card. I'm going to come past this corner here, if you can see that. So I'm not starting right at the edge of the window. And I'm going to go to that corner. I'm going to peel that up, curl it around that corner, come down this side. I don't want it sticking out like through my window where I can see it from the other side. That kind of defeats the purpose. But I usually stay fairly close to the edge. Come back around, and then I just take my scissors and I just snip as close as I can so that when I push it in, it's a nice tight seal. This way, if I decide to use this for a shaker card, then I've got a nice tight seal here and it's ready to go. And then you just peel this paper backing off, the entire thing, and then you can attach it to your card front. Any spare pieces you have, you can actually just attach back to your packaging and use for another project. You'd be surprised how useful these little bits and pieces come in. These are a little bit thicker than Stampin' Dimensionals, so if you ran out of Stampin' Dimensionals and you just need one extra little piece to finish it off, this actually will end up being a little bit higher. So just be careful with that. So that about covers everything on this page. So we covered the fast fuse with watercolor paper, gives a little bit firmer hold. We covered the snail adhesive just using regular flat cards. We covered the fine tip glue pen and the Tombow multi-liquid glue, as well as glue dots on this card. And we've covered the tear and tape with the old sticky strip for this project. We covered the Stampin' Dimensionals with this card, and we covered the foam adhesive strips with this, as well as covering the silicone sheet and the adhesive remover. So that covers all the adhesives. Hopefully you find that helpful in what you need for which projects and what will work best. There's so many uses to these. There's many more uses than what I've shown you. I've just kind of shown you the basics. So hopefully that helps you out. Thanks so much. Have a great day.